Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS, the interview. Boom. And today, sponsored by DistroKid, we have the incredibly cool Shelley Segal. This is one of my favourite tracks of her called Saved. You may have heard it before. Let's oge.
Say that I need to be saved. Say with me, the devil got his way. I want to know how when you are praying, when you are doomsdaying, how you think you know that someone is listening to what you are saying. So you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which our moral code derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder when we'll be rid of your life. Say I need to hear the truth, the sales pitch of eternal life and eternal youth. All these blessings you are bestowing upon the one you say is all-knowing. Or are they really deserved? If you're sending me where you say I am going. So you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which your moral code derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder what will it take for you to start opening your eyes, to start questioning the bullshit everyone around you buys. You think it's any of your business what goes on between my thighs. I wonder when we'll be rid of your life. And so you think that you can tell us how to live our lives, never questioning the source from which your moral code derives. You think that suffering is part of some great plan that's been devised. I wonder what will it take for you to start opening your eyes, to start questioning the bullshit everyone around you buys. You think it's any of your business what goes on between my thighs. I wonder when we'll be rid of your life.
Yes. Our special guest today is Shelley Segal and Saved. Let me tell you a bit of a story about that song before we get into our sponsor for today. I remember the first time I heard this song, I was like, right now, goosebumps. Because, you guys know that songs hit me really hard, reach out to me, that like hit people, talk about stuff, real stuff, like what we're feeling and stuff, you know, and the being downtrodden. And there's this world that is out there at the moment that is just like, I'm the main character and you must. And it's like, no, man, just let us all be. And I feel that every time. It's such a catchy song. And yeah, every time I hear it, I get goosebumps and I often cry. And it's just one of those songs, you know. So I've been wanting to have this artist on for a very, very long time. And finally, we've got her on the show. Hello to everybody in the chat. You know, it's the usual drill. We'll do a call out in about 30 minutes' time, let you all get in and settle and rest your bums and all that stuff. All right, let's mention this because we got to do this, and we can't do these shows without this wonderful support from our good friends at DistroKid. DistroKid are a streaming platform that allow you to release your music to the world, and I've been using them since about 2015 or something like that, when I got fed up with paying exorbitant prices, moved across to DistroKid, and have been very, very happy ever since. And now these days they sponsor the show, so there's that. Just makes me feel good. There are a few ways you can sign up to DistroKid. The basic plan will cost you $22.99 annually, but if you use my code that's floating up the top in the description, and Thomas has put it here in the chat, distrokid.com/VIP/Jade, so you'll get 7% off your first year, putting a few bucks back in your pocket, if that. Who knows with the Australian dollar and all of that jazz. But you can release unlimited songs, unlimited lyrics, Spotify checkmark across all the streaming services, more streaming services than you ever really need to know that you're going out there. Sync your lyrics, all this kind of stuff. There's 3 other plans. You can see I'm on the ultimate plan because I'm a greedy musician and I have 11 artists. Why? I don't know. But there's that. So thank you, DistroKid, for sponsoring the show. We'll mention you again later on in the show. Let's come back over here, and I know everybody wants me to do it because we always have to do it. Thank you, DistroKid. I know, it gets creepier every time. All right. Are we ready to go? I'm ready to go. I'm super excited. This whole week I've been pumped. Ladies and gentlemen, I came across this wonderful artist's music by watching a YouTube channel called The Atheist Experience, and heard her music, opened the show, and for ages was like, I wonder what that song is. I keep hearing that song and it gets stuck in my head and I forget what they're talking about on the show because the song always kicks off the show. And then I found her music and was like, wow, there's so much more to this artist, and we're going to find out today. Shelley Segal joins us. So please, folks, help me by giving her a round of applause, throwing her emoji in the chat if you are a member on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, Shelley Segal. Oh, yeah. Hello. Make sure I've got you unmuted.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. How you doing?
Doing really good. Thanks. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
I'm very, very excited. And tell me first, Shelley, I didn't know you were an Aussie and you're from where I'm from in Melbourne.
I know. I was excited. I got your email, and then, yeah, I saw it here from Australia too. I've been in the US. I don't know. Have I lost my accent? Do I still sound Australian?
I hear little bits. I hear little bits, which is good.
It's really, I'm such a copycat, you know, so I really, and I got sick of people kind of blanking me when I was talking. So I really softened. It's not on purpose, but yeah, I've been in the US now for 8 years, and I love it.
It's definitely it's a
crazy place.
Yeah, and when you're there as an Aussie, I moved there in 2016. I was there for 2 years. I remember everywhere I went, I'd open my mouth and people would go, "Oh, I love your accent. Is it British?" And I'm like, you can't love it that much if you don't know where it's from. do you still get the "I love your accent" thing?
Yeah, I do. But you know, I noticed when I felt like I fit in more when the first thing that people asked me wasn't, "Oh, where are you from?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then now I feel like it's not as obvious. Kind of takes people a sec to clock it.
And
but then I talk to an Aussie, like, and it starts to come back, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to lose. I know a lot of people. They're like, you don't sound that Aussie, and then I Aussie it up and yeah, g'day mate, how you going? And they're like, no, no, talk normal. So let me start off by asking you a very important question that I ask everybody who comes on the channel. What does music mean to you?
Wow, that's a big question. Everything. No, for me, music is a means for self-expression and a freedom of self-expression. Um, in many ways, it's how I process my emotions. It's how I process everything that happens to me, or everything that I go through, or everything um that I experience. Yeah, it's my way of processing my life. And um I I'm so grateful, like I grew up surrounded by music. My dad plays violin, um and he had a wedding band. He had a traditional Jewish wedding band. He played traditional klezmer music. And so I would just grew up around my dad, um, singing and playing violin, and his music partner that he's now been performing with for 45 years. Um, they've been playing at simchas, which is like Jewish celebrations, yeah, for so long. And I grew up in that environment. I remember sitting um at my dad's band rehearsal, after school, doing my homework, and the band would say, "Oh, you want to get up and do a song?" And then I get to get up and sing, and then go back to doing my homework. So it was yeah, just something really special to grow up in that environment. And when there were things that I started writing pretty early. I started writing songs when I was 11. And it was, yeah, it was like the floodgates open, and you had this way of like talking about, um you know of expressing yourself, externalizing what was happening. It's okay if I can just look at it, and I can put it here. And then in terms of just listening to music, taking you into another world. But then when I was 9, I heard Jagged Little Pill
Wow.
by Alanis, and it was the first time I thought, wow, you can really say something, like, because I loved music. I loved even the lyrics. I loved the singing. I liked the stories. But um that was the first time I felt like, wow, I can really say something. And that music can change the way that you think about the world. It can give you a new perspective. And I was so obsessed with that, and I I love artists that are telling like a really true story. I think you can put yourself, and you can put yourself into a lot of different kinds of situations. You can imagine it, with no regular amount of empathy. But there are some songs that, the story is so unique. It's exactly what happened to that artist, and that's how I know it really happened to them. And even though it didn't happen to me, because I know, I can feel their emotion. That's the part I relate to the most, even if it's not something, that was my experience. So I love artists like that really show you how they feel, and help you see the world in a different way. So that's a little bit of music, but I could talk about it forever, because
And I'm here to let you. In saying that,
well, that's dangerous.
in 2024, does Shelley Segal still have hope?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
What's driving this hope?
Good people,
Mm.
good, brave people. And you know, I feel surrounded by those people. I feel so lucky in that way. I just came back from a conference in Norway. I performed for the Celebrating Dissent Festival, which is organized by Mariam Namazi, and who runs the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain. And so it's, you know, there are certain countries in the world where you can be executed.
Yes.
For blasphemy, for free thought, for thinking for yourself, for speaking out, for saying your beliefs. And, you know, and here are these brave women who have come out of these countries and come out of these situations and just found a fearlessness to fight back and fight for their sisters and fight for their families and just be like so bold and so brave, and like that fight for freedom is worth. It's impossible not to hope, you know, around people like that. It's hard not to feel the, you know, indomitable spirit.
Do you feel like currently we're focusing too much on the negative in the world? Is this what is one of the problems? Because I agree. Like, I love artists who, you know, pour their heart all over music. That's why I like your music. There's so many artists that like do that now, and it takes a lot of work for an artist to be that kind of artist, because you are leaving it all on the table. You are just wiping the floor with everything that you have, and so I guess two-part question: Do you think we focus too much on the negative in this world, and is there a way out of it? If you think we do.
I don't know, you know, it's funny because, yeah, we went straight into it. Like, is there still hope? And then I started talking about executions, you know, and it's like, yeah, that was very heavy. But I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe my songs are a bit too much of a downer, you know, but I do feel like I put the hope in there, you know. I think you're dealing with this heaviness and you're processing it, and you're still trying to say something, you know, to push back, or just give people the energy to help them fight or keep going. And yeah, I think there has to be, even in the sadness and all my A minor, D minors, I feel like it's still, you know, I feel like there's a bit of hope, and just the fact that, you know, you're still getting up on stage and still singing and connecting with people, and that there is that opportunity for love and connection and community, which is complicated. I feel really complicated about community, but it's, yeah, I think I still have hope, and I hope you all do too.
I absolutely do. You know, even in the toughest of times, I think hope is important to hold on to more than anything else. So let's rewind, and we've got some heavy stuff out of the way there. I love throwing people in the deep end. It's just my thing. Let's talk about being a little kid back in Melbourne in a Jewish family. What was some of the music that was played in your household growing up, and did any by your parents, and did it has influenced you? Who was some of the artists, the stuff you'd hear on maybe the record player or the CD, whatever it was then? Who were some of those?
Well, I got to hear so much different music because, you know, I think my family and myself as well, we spent more time making music than we did listening to it, you know, because my dad was playing 2 or 3 gigs every weekend and then rehearsing during the week, maybe we used to perform at the aged care facilities. He would like go all the time and play, like, the traditional music. So I guess that klezmer music is something I really grew up around, and it's so joyful. It's so upbeat, and it's relentless, actually. It just, you gotta keep, it's like 25 minutes of like hardcore dancing and jumping and throwing people in the air on chairs. Like it's really full on, but it's so, to me, that's the sound of my childhood. Just that joyful, celebratory, like energy. And I just hear my dad, in between the lines, hey, 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 like it's just giving people that energy. And so yeah, I had a lot of klezmer music. Um, I had my dad is a big Billy Joel fan, and so am I. I love Billy Joel. Um, and but my dad would kind of give me artists to listen to. He showed me Madonna. He gave me Whitney and Celine and Mariah and all the divas, and I would just, you know, I would be terrible at it in the shower. but
Do you still
but yeah.
do you still sing in the shower?
Um,
What a
Probably
question.
not. I think I'm singing all the time. I think I'm just constantly making sounds, and I don't really notice. But sometimes, like I have a close friend that I used to work with, and she would just be like, "Shut up! Like stop singing. You're singing the whole time, and I can't concentrate." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was doing it." And then I would stop, and then like within maybe 15 seconds, just I'm just singing again, and I'm not even consciously doing it, and it's not even like singing a nice song. It's like a little sound that I'm just making. I'm just be like, like a really annoying. I'm just playing with my voice, and it's kind of a constant. And my best friend here, Principal, uh, I have a studio and production company we started together, and we work together here in LA, and he's the same. So we just make noises together the whole time. Now that's how I learned to sing in harmony, because I grew up in such a musical environment, and my brother sang. It's yeah, just me and my brother, my younger brother. He sang as well, but we never sang together. We would fight over who got to like sing, like we would just always want to sing lead with the band, instead of, we wasted all those years not singing together. But now, I feel like I've learned a lot about harmony just from being around Prince and just making noise together. Sometimes I remember one time we caught like a really long ride home, and for just the whole hour we were just sitting there going just like following each other, making great. I thought this Uber driver is going to think we're insane.
They think we're all insane.
Yeah,
I don't mind doing
but
it.
that's it's playing. When they talk about playing music, it's play. And sometimes I forget that. When I get stuck in my head a little bit, and I think, oh, I don't know what to play. And I think people feel that way sometimes. They feel held back because they don't know what to do. It's like I have to know what I can do before I do it. And I have to remind myself, it's like, no, this is play. It's play, and it's just doing it. That's actually how I learned to write songs when I was 11. One of my best friends, a family friend, Edie, she was 9, and she had written this song. It was like about a guy called Johnny, and he was driving in his car, and he like went beep beep and turned around, and like it was just, she taught it to us, and I was just completely blown away. I was like, Edie, how did you do this? Like, how did you do it? And she's like, it's really easy. You just do it.
Yeah.
And I took that to heart. I took it to heart. Like I took her seriously. I was like, okay, I'll go do it. And I like literally, I went upstairs. I got out my pen and paper in my journal, and I wrote a song. And that's it. And sometimes I still have to remind myself that that's the process. You just gotta do it.
It's so true. It's like I do this show, and for 4 years I've been concentrating on teaching as much as I can and showing people tech tips and all that stuff on how to make music. And I noticed in the last 4 years, I haven't been making much music. And so the last few
Right.
months, I've started moving my live streams to making music and the recorded videos, how to do stuff. And I'm making so much
Yeah.
music at the moment. Like yesterday, I spent 10 hours making music. It feels so good to be making music again and just doing it. Just do it and just stop.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I had a chance to watch one of your videos, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's just like, yeah, it's so nice to just share, like you're empowering people. You're showing people how to do things, how to make things. I love the idea. You know, I only got to watch the one video, but I think
there's too many to
I think
watch.
it's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I saw it like one day ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you're busy. You're busy out here.
Constantly. Shelley, what was the first album you purchased with your own pocket money and what was given to you as a gift? Do you remember the first one that was given to you as a gift?
The first
This is
gift?
a tough one. Yeah.
No, I remember it was a cassette tape of Break My Stride.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
Nobody
Nobody gonna slow me down.
Oh, no.
Oh no, I got to keep on moving.
What a great song. Obviously a great song. See, you can recall it. That's a sign of a good song right there, if you can recall it. And what about that you bought with your money?
I think it was the Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
What a crazy album to buy with your first money, because I remember hearing that the first time was just like, oh man, music's just changed.
Yes, that's how it felt. I think I listened to that album every night for 2 years straight.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those albums that was monumental, groundbreaking. It just reminded me of like Nirvana. There are just these moments that you know when the dynamic of the industry is changing. I mean, me being a metalhead, I kind of wasn't a part of the like pop music and stuff. But I remember the 90s and when that came out and it was like, oh my God, metal's in trouble. People are like growing some balls with their music. And it sure did happen. It was the 90s were exactly that. When you lived here in Australia growing up, did you have access to music at school or anything like that? Were you forced to learn recorder? Or did you want to?
Yes, we did recorder, and no, I went to a Jewish school, and I had we had a lot of music at school, but I didn't really connect to it in that formalized way, or yeah, like, you know, I never did musicals at school. I didn't really, like I said, I wasn't good at harmonies. So it was just something that I kind of did on my own. We had like, you know, a music room that you could go to, and that's where I would go every lunchtime and just sit and play piano and just write songs. Like that's how I spent a lot of my free time at school.
Now, you amassed a whole bunch of songs as a kid as well. So as soon as you start writing music, you have a collection of songs. And I always think about this too, because when I was younger and I started playing when I was young as well, and I was writing songs, I didn't think about this. But now as I'm older, I think, how do kids have so much information and knowledge when they're writing music? And I look back at my music and go, I was writing a load of nonsense. Do you look back on your music and think, I was quite adult back then for when I was writing, or do you look back at it and cringe?
I do sometimes cringe, but I'm trying not to do that because, like I said, that was just my way of processing things. And, you know, inside you think, oh, it's such a little kid, you know, way to think. It's like, well, yeah, you were a little kid.
Yeah.
That was who you were at that time. And I'm trying to see the beauty in that. And like, actually, I was just recently listening to a really old song that I have found really cringe, for a long time, and I've really struggled to listen to it. I feel embarrassed when I listen to it. And I tried to listen to it and revisit it with an open heart. Like, this was just the other day, actually. And yeah, I really tried to look at what I was saying. It's funny, there's so much to lyrics. I recently worked on a music video with an artist, Victoria Guggenheim. She's an incredible body paint artist, and I'm so excited for that video and that song that we're working on. But she wanted me to give her some ideas for visuals, and I find it hard. I find it hard to be visual. I and I connect much more to lyrics and to words. And so I thought, well, just read the words. Like, that should guide you, because I don't know what visuals. But then I thought, okay, I'll just talk more about the words. And I just wrote like paragraphs and paragraphs describing the lyrics, because I feel like I'm very plainly spoken. I feel like it's conversational. I feel like I'm just saying it, and there's not really a subtext. Like, I'm very literal.
Yep.
The only times that I ever include metaphors in my songs is when they happen to me literally, and then I'm like, oh, that's a metaphor. I swear, the only time.
Accidental metaphors.
And just by talking about the lyrics, I realized, like, no, actually there is so much here that I'm not saying. And so I revisited this song that I wrote when I was like 15, and I tried not to hold on to that feeling of embarrassment, and just listen to, like, what was this 15-year-old girl going through, and what was she trying to say. And actually, like, yeah, I lost the cringe, and I thought it was really beautiful. And that was a nice moment. I think it's nice to be who you are at every stage of who you are. I'm trying to accept that, like, the past me and the me that I will be. There's not sometimes I say to myself, if people complaining about getting old, and even me too, I know I'm very young, and I think, is there an age that I don't want to be? No, I want to be, if I'm lucky, I will get to be every incarnation of myself until I don't. So yeah, I'm trying to learn from who I was at that time. And especially because, I don't know if you've had this experience with writing songs, but sometimes I have this feeling, this experience, something happened to me. I'm like, okay, I have to write about it. And I pull up my guitar and I start writing the song. I'm like, wait, I've been through this. I've already written this song. How did I not learn? How did I not learn from my mistake? How many times do I have to write the same message to myself? Stop doing this show. It's funny.
Yeah. Let's play a track. I'm going to play Free.
Okay.
Now, normally, when I used to do these interviews, I would always ask people and go, so what is this song about? But I don't do it anymore, because I know, from my experience, I've had people who, when I've done interviews about my music, I've gone, this song's about this. And then I've had an email from someone going, I'm totally shattered. I thought it was about this. And I just destroyed somebody's concept of because you can't tell how people take things. They take things for completely different reasons. So let's just.
I know you.
Yeah.
I know you're going to play a song, but that just made me think of a funny story.
Sure, go for it.
So I remember when I first went on tour in the US, and I was touring my Atheist album that Saved is from, and I was really, really nervous to play these songs for the first time in America. I was in New Orleans, and I played Saved at the end of my set. And I was really curious how people were going to take it. And this guy came up to me and he was like, that last song you played? And I was like, uh-oh, here we go. He said, I totally get it. He's like, I totally get it. No one can tell us what to do. They're making a law now that we have to wear seatbelts. And if I don't want to wear a seatbelt, no one can make me wear a seatbelt.
No.
No, yeah.
But we want you to live,
I was like-
mate.
I mean, I guess like he did kind of catch the emotion of it, like I won't be
Yeah.
told.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that was anyway. Just remind me of that. Yeah, I love the interpretations. It's nice sometimes to let the music speak for itself too, because I do talk a lot.
Absolutely. Let's play it. This is free, folks. Grab a coffee, grab a drink, and they'll come back and say hello to you all. This is free. Let's ooge, baby.
Just because it was my choice doesn't make it any easier. Anytime I hear your voice, it makes me wanna run straight back home. Feels like I'm dying, like I'll never stop crying, but I know it's the right thing. And I understand that my life is a mess. Pull me out of my misery. How much longer till I find my peace? And I understand that I lost it somehow, but I know I can find it in me. Yeah, just hold on and I will be free. It's hard to look with present eyes at a world that was so long ago. I know I gave it every try, yeah, and that's why I can't let it go. Still it feels like I'm dying, like I'll never stop crying, but I know it's the right thing. And I understand that my life is a mess. Pull me out of my misery. How much longer till I find my peace? And I understand that I lost it somehow, but I know I can't find it in me. Yeah, just hold on and I will be free. Just hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, just hold on. Yeah, just hold on and I will be free.
Good Lord. Wow. sure everybody's feeling it, feeling those goosebumps. What a vocal performance. Stunning performance, Shelley. Really, really nice.
Thank you.
And you know what I love watching when I do these interviews? There's nothing worse than having an artist on and you're playing their music. You can see them off camera and they're just sitting there going, but you're there going, yeah, you got to love your music, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love it, man. I'm so proud of that tune. Like, I produced and arranged it, and nah, it's rocking.
It's beautiful.
And it's so nice, you know, that I can go through.
Just breaking up a little bit with your Wi-Fi,
Oh,
I think.
no.
There we are. I think we're back.
Oh no,
We're back.
Okay, cool.
We're back.
Okay,
We're back. Look, yeah, beautiful song. Let's say hi to everybody here in the chat. We've got a bunch of people here who've been hanging out with us, and we're growing. We've had a time change here because, you know, daylight savings, so people aren't used to the new change of the time of the show. Folks in the chat, you know I love you all. I want to say first, before we do the shout-outs, thank you to Kurt Kasprick, who shot over 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for that, Kurt. You rock. Let's say, type something in the chat so I can find you all. Metalhead Hippies here. And I know Metalhead Hippie's a big fan of yours. We all love Metalhead Hippie.
It's so cool to see you here.
Boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
I've got his sound effect on.
Boom, boom, boom.
On tap. Kurt Kasprick, Tremor Bear, hello to you. Thomas Christ, Leela, Rise of Dark Leela. I know Leela's a big fan of yours. We both are because we both watch Atheist Experience as well. We've got two Garys in the house. G May, is it really? Is it really? Hello to you. Who else have I missed? I know there's lots of people up here. Ed B. Metals in the house. G'day, Ed. Tremor Bear, hello to you. Dell was here. Dell had to go. Ed Zelinsky, g'day. Hope you're doing well, Ed. And if anyone else is here and wants me to call out their name, chuck something in the chat so I can say it. But let's get on, because we're mentioning, you know, your older material, and you actually released a whole bunch of your music on Bandcamp. You know, this is was it your first EP that you released? I think I have it here.
Yes.
It's just called Shelley Segal. Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one I was listening to
I know.
the other day. You picked it.
I love it. I love this stuff. I love nostalgia, and it was so cool to go back and find your Bandcamp and then find this and go, oh man. So these songs were like it says here, from the age of 15 to 21 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Little baby.
I love this stuff. It makes me so happy to hear where people have come from, because it's a musical catalogue of how we've grown, what our belief system was at a time, because it changes. We're evolving creatures, you know. We're not just black and white. And I think that's what that music does for it. Captures a little time capsule of where we were thinking and what was going on at the time.
Right. That's my favorite thing about it. And not even just my music, but, you know, the music that you love, and you know, how it makes you feel in that moment and that time. And then, you know, you go back and listen to it 10 years later, and it still has the original meaning, but now it has a new meaning because you've changed and you're different. And so you rub up against that feeling and those words and that experience differently. And not only do you get to like experience the song in a new way and give that a new meaning, but you like feel the distance between the person that you were then and the person you are now. It's like, it's so special.
Now, were you ever a part of a band? Like, did you have a first band or anything that you sung for? I love this question, because if you did, I love hearing your first band name, because it's...
Well, I got to sing with my dad's band, you know. I was so lucky. Like, my dad would start getting me up on stage when I was 11, and he would say, just do one song, you know. And I was so nervous. Like, just the feeling of everyone's eyes on me, I felt like I was going to be sick, and I hated it. I loved singing so much, but I really hated that feeling. And it kind of stayed for like 3 years, you know, where it was just physically painful to be in front of people. It was so awful, but I just kept getting up and I kept doing it, and then, okay, by the time I was 14, I was cured. And then the stage was home, you know? And then by the time I was like 15, 16, I was doing the whole nine with my dad, with my dad's band. And that was so fun. Like, when you're 15, no one wants to hang out with your folks, but like, I would get to like wear a nice, not, wear a nice gown and like sing at a wedding and have a top meal and just play music with my family. And so, I was doing that every weekend. It was the best. So that was my first band. And it's also a really cool, I think wedding band is such a good foundation, because you're singing in so many different styles.
Yeah.
And it's very functional, and its music is a function, and you're providing a soundtrack to the happiest day of people's lives. I mean, sometimes there's, stressed out, disgruntled people, but most of the time everyone's really happy, and
Yeah.
it's so special. And yeah, you're just like, it's a job. And I loved growing up seeing that music is a job and being surrounded by people that make it work in that way. And I think, my dad had a crazy work ethic, with the functions. Like, there was never not music, like you can't just let there be silence for a few minutes. So like, if a couple of people are eating, the rest of us are up there playing, or, eventually I get up and play, some folk songs while people are eating. Like, you always have to have music. And yeah, so that was such a cool introduction for me. That was my first band. It's like my dad's band. And then I did start a band with some friends.
All right, now
and
we're getting to the...
Right. And we did some no doubt covers.
Oh,
but
cool.
then they left. They started a new band just without me.
Oh no! Did they tell you?
No, they just said, we're not doing it. And then they just did it without me.
Sucky.
But who's still playing music now? No.
Revenge is served cold.
I hope they're still playing music now, actually. Yeah.
You know what?
But yeah, that was rough.
I fear, Shelley, that a lot of today's artists, because we're all doing this online, we're all sitting here, we've all got our own little studios and stuff. One of my fears is that a lot of people are missing out on this experience of playing live when they're young and having these experiences. Yes. And so there's more of a chance that if you do get some kind of success, then you're not kind of prepared for that, and it can cause issues. I'm so thankful that I have played so many gigs as a kid and been ripped off by so many people and gone through all the, had a record label where we lost all our music, signed the dotted line, all these experiences that, like,
oh wow,
you need to have. I feel like, do you feel that some people are going to miss out on that?
I mean, I feel so lucky. Like, I got, thrown in the deep end so young. I'm so grateful for that. And yeah, I don't know how anyone else would get over stage fright, with only playing sporadically. It would take 20 years if I didn't have that. But I think there's new ways. There's new ways of connecting. There's new ways of playing. Like, how many videos you're getting to live stream. Like, you're getting... No one would have that experience of getting to talk to a crowd of people. You know what I mean? So there's new ways that we get to practice new skills. But yeah, absolutely. You need to be gig fit. And even then, I've been, like I said, playing regularly since I was 11 years old. And when the pandemic hit, just like in 2019, from 2016 to 2019, I was on the road 6 months of the year here in the States. And when the pandemic came, everything stopped.
Yes.
And I opened that's when I opened my studio with my bestie Prince. And yeah, it's a different type of singing. I was still in the studio singing every day, and so I didn't lose my voice. And I probably developed a bit more finesse and control, but I definitely lost the strength that I had from being out on the road doing, 3-hour gigs every other day. And it was so hard to like come back to that, just to build up to an hour again. Like I was surprised. So, yeah, it's something you really need to work out and build on.
Yeah, I perform here on my channel every Saturday US time, and it's great. I still feel like I'm performing, but then at the end of the day, you look and then go, I'm just in a room staring at a camera. So the feedback that you get back is zilch, and you see claps in the chat and everything, and it's all great, but it's nothing compared to playing at a festival and having 40,000 people go yay, and you just it's a very new way to train your brain to perform and then get nothing afterwards. Oh, it feels like being a comedian and bombing at a club.
Right. The energy that you get from people live is so cool, and it's a different experience for sure. But I do live streaming. I do every Sunday. I do live stream songwriting, and it's just me talking. We're like 90 minutes straight, But I'm talking to my community, and like, we're sharing ideas, and we write a song together. Basically, like, I just know how amazing it is to be able to talk about what you're going through and express that in some form, creative form. And so, and I remember every time that I had like a learning curve, I still remember them. I think some people get so far down the line, they can't remember what it was like to not know and not understand. And I feel very close to not understanding. Like I just remember all those aha moments and all those times when I felt like something wasn't accessible to me. And I just really want people to feel that creativity and expression is available to them and so close. And all you need is like a space and to quiet a critical mind and create. And so, I do that every Sunday. And yeah, it's just me talking for 90 minutes. But I will say, like, I get a rush. I get a similar rush because, I think the time limit too. So I always say we write a song every week and in real time, and it's 90 minutes. So I kind of have to just hype myself up and have that same energy of when I'm going on stage, because if I don't get hyper, I'm not going to finish the song. And then it's like exciting, like, are we going to do it? So I do get some of that rush, but yeah, it's different. I remember after the pandemic, the first time I played again, and I hadn't played for, I think, 2 years.
Wow.
And and this, I really felt like I didn't know who I was. I felt like a diminished version of myself, because there's this self-actualization of like getting up on stage and telling my story and connecting to people. And that's how I feel like that's how I knew who I was. And without that, I didn't know who I was. It was really hard. And yeah, I felt very, very diminished. And so, yeah, my friend, you're from Australia, so you'll know Vanessa Amorosi.
Yes.
She's one of the greatest vocalists of all time.
She's
I don't know,
amazing.
some people may only know, think of her as a pop singer, which, that's great. Like pop, I love pop music. I spend a lot of my time making pop music. But she actually has like one of the most powerful, voices. Vocal nerds will do videos breaking down her, like, high B flat or whatever. Like, but anyway, she used to sing in my dad's band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was like 14, 15, singing, at restaurants and weddings, and she would just come and open her mouth, and everybody would just kind of stop what they were doing. So I'm really lucky. I grew up with Vanessa, and she's out here in LA, and so she had a show at the Hotel Cafe, which is a cute little venue in Hollywood. And I got to open for her. And that was my first show in 2 years. And it was crazy. I I felt like I was high. Like I was so out of control at the end of the gig. Like I hadn't felt like that. And my friends were like, "Are you okay?" I couldn't even focus my eyes. Like I was so in such a heightened state. It was crazy. And yeah, it's been, coming back. I've been back on tour this year, and it's still like a really full on experience. It's so, yeah.
I miss it
I don't
so
know.
much. I miss it. I've got gigs coming up in a new band I've just joined. I'm so excited. So I don't know when, because yeah, it's too weird to even talk about. Let's run our midway ad from DistroKid. I'll just hit play on this. I used to do a spoken ad in the middle, Shelley, but then I realised I'm a bit loose with my mouth and say some stupid things sometimes. So I think it's best to do a recorded video from now on. So I don't upset my fantastic sponsor. So let's hear from DistroKid, and we'll be right back in a moment, my friends. This is DistroKid. Boom. This presentation is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Introducing DistroKid, your ultimate music distribution solution. For just $29.99 a year, DistroKid empowers you to release unlimited tracks on all major music platforms worldwide, including Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, and so many more. Plus, use my link distrokid.com/VIP/Jade and get 7% off your first year. You'll also keep 100% of your royalties and gain access to valuable tools like instant verification on Spotify and detailed revenue analytics. Don't let your music go unheard. Join DistroKid today and take your music career to the next level. Thank you, DistroKid, for sponsoring today's presentation. Yes, indeed. You know what I'm going to do. Thank you, DistroKid. I love you, DistroKid. All right, weird. So tell us about this. So your album, you released your second album, an Atheist Album. All of a sudden, I want to know the story and how you end up getting tied up with the Atheist experience. How does this song get? Because this must have been a really big thing for you. So you release this album. Here it is, here, folks. It's a wicked album. It's really, really good album. You should go and grab
Thank
it,
you.
buy it on Bandcamp. So you put it out there. How does getting involved in the Atheist experience happen for you?
Yeah, it's not something I saw coming, for
Right.
sure. My whole life was about my religion and my community.
Mhm.
Like I'm very intense, and I take things very literally and very much to heart. And I grew up in this environment where everything was centered around Jewish life. My community, my neighborhood, my school, my synagogue that I went to on the weekend, the music that I played, the simchas that I played from my community. And I went to a Jewish youth group on the weekends, and yeah, it was just all encompassing. I was taught Hebrew as a young child. I learned the biblical Hebrew as well as the modern Hebrew, and I took it so seriously. I, my parents and my community told me, this is how the world has come to be, and um, there's a God, and he's given us a book that tells us what to do, and how to be a good person and how to do the right thing. And so I trust the people around me. And so I took it very seriously. And, I'd come home to my parents, like kind of confused. I'm like, but I learned this at school. Why aren't we doing this? Why
Mm-hmm.
aren't we, and I tried to force my family to be more observant of the rules. Um, and I think that kind of caused a bit of dissonance for me. Like, it didn't make sense. If it seems so obvious, like, if this is true, there wasn't the question of if this is true. It's just true. This is true. There's a God, and he gave us this book, and it tells us what to do. Why? How can we not be doing it? Like, it was just, that was a dissonance for me. And then, there were just like more dissonances here and there, because the God that I spoke to, that I now know is a reflection of myself, or that, I feel is a reflection of myself. He was really nice. he was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was happy, like, when I got laid. he was he was my buddy. He was rooting for me to root. Like, he was I didn't
He
feel
was this
I
one.
didn't
He was that one.
yeah. I didn't, well, actually, I remember when I was really little, I thought that I would pray every night. And those were some of the first songs I wrote, actually, before I even realized I was writing songs. I would like sing prayers, and I would make up little songs in Hebrew to God that I would say every night. And I just, it was in my head. I remember from, I don't know how old I was, maybe I was 5 or 6, but who I was speaking to in my head. Do you remember Harold the helicopter from Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was the image I had in my head, because he was in the sky and he was white, and that was God.
Oh,
That was
wow.
Harold the helicopter, and and this is a long journey to the atheist experience, but I,
There's Shelley's God right there, everybody.
as a 6-year-old,
Yeah, of course.
it did evolve.
Hey, look, it's a sweet image.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Who are you gonna be? The fighter jet? No. Like, he looks
Absolutely.
friendly.
Yeah, he does. He's got a permanent smile on his face, and that's a good thing.
And but the God was nice and loving and kind and caring, and I never felt any shame for a lot of, for anything. And then people keep telling me, oh no, God says we can't do this. Oh no, God, that's not. And so wait, you're telling me the God that you're painting, and the God that is in these books that we're reading, was not the God that I loved and that I was talking to. And so, it was kind of like everybody else's version of it made it untrue, because my God would never be like that. And then I kind of, well, how do I know, that there's anybody there? Well, it's from the text. And the deeper I went into the text, the more I realized, like, it's not good enough for me. And I went to an Orthodox synagogue, even though I call us medium Jews. We were like moderately
Right.
observant. For a secular person living in Australia, we were really religious. Like, it was I just described my whole life being about Judaism, right? But my parents, like, we weren't religious. Like, okay, cool. Like, you weren't wearing a wig, but it was our whole life, and
Yeah.
and so we were moderately religious, but we went to an Orthodox synagogue, and in the synagogue, that we went to, they practice gender segregation. So the women will sit upstairs and the men will sit downstairs. Sorry. Yes. And if you can't make it upstairs for whatever reason, you can still sit up on the bottom floor, but you have to sit up the back behind a curtain, which is called a mechitza. And so it's like, you know, it's just, it's see-through, so you can see through it. And I remember, like, you know, taking issue with it, and my brother being like, it's just a symbol. And I'm like, it's also a literal curtain.
Yeah.
Like, it's literal. I'm sitting behind a curtain. And I wanted to be involved. I cared way more than my family. I took it way more seriously. And I was not allowed to engage in it fully in the same way that my brother could, in the same way that my father could, because in Orthodox Judaism, a woman's voice is not allowed to be heard unaccompanied, because it's too arousing, which is true. Yeah.
Too arousing.
It's very arousing, but like,
whose fault is that though?
Exactly.
We live.
I think it was their loss. I was the best singer, you know. My brother's good, my dad's good, but I'm better. And
yeah, well, you're the one touring, so it says it all. In fact, let's play a song. I want to play a track. So this is Already Gone. Let's play it. Everybody chill.
Hey.
And we'll be back shortly. Let's do it now. Boom.
I can't sleep. It smells different here. I put on a brave face, but I don't like changes. You can't be weak when you have everything you need. You can't just keep everyone you love in little knick-knack boxes on the wall. I'm longing for a place that has already been, and I'm struggling to reach. Or was that the highest peak? Take me back where I belong. Take me back where I belong. I am longing for a place that is already gone. I can't run, it's too heavy now. I've gotten in a foothold, but my knees are scraping, and you can't be weak. You have everything you need. You can't just keep everyone you love in little knick-knack boxes on the walls. I'm longing for a place that has already been, and I'm struggling to reach. Or was that the highest peak? Take me back where I belong. Take me back where I belong. I'm longing for a place that has already been, and I'm struggling to reach. Or was that the highest peak? Take me back where I belong. Take me back where I belong. Take me back where I belong. I am longing for a place that is already gone.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I feel so mellow today. Normally I'm really hyper. I think it's because I found some. I went out house hunting yesterday, Shelley, and while I was waiting for the real
Cool.
estate agent to arrive, I was sitting on the step outside the apartment, and I found a bag of pot.
Haha.
And I haven't smoked pot for so long, and I took it home. And last night I smoked it in such a long time, and I think that's why I feel so mellow today. But I end up recording music.
That'll do it to you.
Yeah, I ended up recording music for 8 hours, so that was a good thing. I remembered what it was
Oh,
like to
wow.
smoke weed. So I'm a bit mellow today, so I apologise for not being like I normally am. Hello to anybody new who's joined us in the chat, like Crow, and I saw Javelle and a few others that have come in. If I've missed you, I do apologise. And Hugh Caldwell as well. So,
Oh, thank you, Crow.
now we want to know, so we'll get to it. Did the atheist experience reach out to you?
Yes, I was
Right.
taking a long time. I was taking a long time to get there, wasn't I?
It's
Well,
all
when
good.
I was a child, no,
It's your show. Like, it's always your show. I just sit back and go, whatever you say.
right.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yes, so I'll jump ahead. I left my tradition. It was like one of the most intense experiences I've ever gone through. It was completely earth-shattering. Everything that I understood about how the world had come to be was a lie, and I had to just like rebuild everything. And I was writing about it because that's, like I said, how I process things. And it was so interesting because I had been writing for a long time and sharing my music, and I always felt like, yeah, I'm talented and I have something to say, and I write songs and they're nice, and there's like a lot of there's probably millions of people in this, that also are doing something similar, and I kind of didn't, not that I didn't feel like pursuing things, because I was pursuing my music. I was performing and played with my band at the Barleycorn.
The barleycorn. Oh, my
the
Lord.
The Barleycorn at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night.
I haven't played the barleycorn since, I think my last gig at the barleycorn was just as I was coming out, actually. So it was about 2002. Oh, God, it was like a Thursday. There's like 8 people there.
Right. 2002. I might have been there with you.
They had the barrels in the place, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they had like barrels. Yeah. Oh, God, my memory works. The barleycorn.
Well done. Like, yeah, I know you. And so like I was putting myself out there, but I didn't feel this, like, I don't know. I just enjoyed it, and it was just like, people would say, "Oh, go talk to this person," or I just didn't feel like bothering people about my music. I know that might sound like a weird thing. I didn't feel like I had to tell anything to tell anyone.
Yeah.
I did. I had things that I wanted to say in my music, but I didn't feel like, knocking down any doors. And then all of a sudden, when I wrote this album, that was just about every new way that I saw the world and everything that was wrong with the world that I had come from. And it was just like burning hot. And it was like every conversation I was having with the people around me, and it was just so intense. And I felt like everyone needs to hear this. I know maybe that sounds crazy or arrogant, or I don't know, but it wasn't even like you have to hear me. It was like you have to hear this. Like we have to have this conversation. We have to talk about this. This is crazy. Like it was so intense, and it felt for the first time in my life, it didn't feel like I was marketing. I just felt like I need to talk about this. There are people that are going to really want to hear this. And it felt so natural. It didn't feel forced. I think I'm a good salesperson, but I have to not feel like you're selling something. You have to actually just genuinely love what you're doing, or really believe that it has a tangible use and impact. And so, yeah, it just felt so easy for the first time to like really put myself out there in that way, maybe like in a marketing sense, you know. It was so cool because I got to do music marketing and talk to the music media in Australia and have conversations about religion and ethics and politics. And it was like, yeah, I'm here to sing about music, but like, let's have this really intense discussion. And, you know, we're going to get along. We're already getting along, you know, you go straight in for it too. Like, let's not waste any time. Yeah, it was so cool.
I was just going to say, like, I expect it's the same way as like coming out as trans. Like for me, I felt like I was floundering for so long, like obviously because I wasn't happy in who I was. So that what I was writing had no depth because everything was actually being buried. And it's the same as like coming out with, you know, religion and such. So when I came out, and then I was this new person, all of a sudden I had this thing to write about this, and there was so much, the passion just came from somewhere. And then all of a sudden I was getting gigs everywhere and speaking everywhere and, you know, headlining Mardi Gras and all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, now I have something to say. And
that's so cool.
And a lot of the time it didn't please people. And I'm guessing it's the same as coming as atheist as well.
Right. And that's the thing, but even though some people don't want to hear it, it's contagious. When you are that passionate about what you're saying, I think it's contagious, and people like just gravitate to it. And there's something really magical. It's special happens when you have that, like, you know, courage of your convictions. It's really cool. But those are the moments when things I never expected could happen happened. You know, and everyone was telling me, don't make this album. Don't do this. You're going to ruin your career. My career as a singer at the Barleycorn and the Jewish wedding circuit.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, Jewish weddings, you know, it's a good gig. So I probably, you know, everyone said not to do it. And I talked to my dad about it. My dad is the president of our synagogue. My dad's a president of an Orthodox synagogue. And he helped me make my album.
Yep.
It's so cool.
So you release the album, it hits. What's the reaction like when it drops?
It was so cool. It like got in like the top, I can't remember, it was like 12 years ago, but like, you know, top 10 or something videos from Australia, and just all this traffic started coming. And, you know, I was getting like thousands of comments on YouTube, on the video, and it was so exciting. And I'd only just got a smartphone because I was a late adopter for a long time. And I remember my boyfriend at the time was like getting annoyed at me that I was just on my phone the whole day. I'm like, but this is so exciting, you know. It was really, really cool. And I'm still connected to a lot of the people that I met at that time. And I started getting, you know, calls from people. There was a big rally at that time called the Reason Rally. That was in 2012, just after Saved came out. And they invited me to come and perform in America at the Reason Rally, which was a big atheist rally on the National Mall in DC. And Tim Minchin played, and Bad Religion played, and
holy shit, big names.
And Richard Dawkins was there talking.
Wow.
Yeah, it was epic. And so I got to play. That was my first show in America. I played to 30,000 people on the National Mall. It was like really cool.
That's huge. My first show in America was at a pub in Chicago in front of 12 people. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just as good.
Right. Well, like I said, just after that, when I did my own regular tour, was at the co-op, the co-op in Louisiana, where where the guy told me about the seatbelt. So you go from the highs to the lows. It keeps you humble.
So being outspoken as an atheist, and writing this material, did it come with like negative stuff? You have, because I mean, you are the voice for that show, and it's a really popular show on YouTube, and everybody hears that music, and I'm sure people find you because it is a catchy song. Like Saved is a really catchy song, but do you get people following you from the atheist experience who are like, but there's only one God, and do you get the sell on, come back to Jesus and all that stuff?
Well, I never had Jesus, so
Well,
they're barking up the wrong tree.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you got to remember who we're talking about.
Right. No.
The atheist experience crowd.
I can't complain. I think I'm so lucky. Like because of the music that I made and how, that album resonated with so many people, I met like thousands upon thousands of people who just don't have their families anymore.
Yep.
And so I am so grateful to Harold the Helicopter for giving me my parents, because I I joke, I say that they love me more than they love God, even though they're still religious. They go every week. My dad will call me on his way to shul, even though he's not supposed to be driving. He parks around the corner so no one sees him, because you're not supposed to drive on the Sabbath. You're not supposed to touch electricity. Right. But he's on the phone to me, driving to synagogue, parking around the corner. I'm like, who is it for? Because if it's for God, he can see that you parked around the corner, Dad.
Yeah.
But I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky, and I know it. And there's people in my family that aren't happy about it. They're not happy, and I think some people in the community kind of came to my dad and the rabbi at the synagogue, and they're like, "What are we gonna do about Shelley?
Oh no!
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" I started singing in Hebrew again, because I couldn't for a long time. I was like, I was pretty angry. I found it was hard. I found it hard to sing at the bar mitzvahs and the weddings like I used to. After I started questioning everything, it made the relationship more complicated with the music, even though, it is such a gift to be able to sing the music of a community to that community. There's a Kimya Dawson lyric says, "I'm not singing to the choir, I'm singing with the choir." I love that. I'm not preaching to the choir, I'm singing with the choir. And like, you're the sound that people can resonate with. And I think it's so funny because I'm still doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing that my dad does. Really. I played music for my community, and I still play music for my community.
I love
and
that
I think
so
that's
much.
really cool.
I love that so much. See, here with we have a little community here on YouTube spread across like a whole bunch of channels. You already know Metalhead Hippie. He played your stuff way back when he started off. But we have a whole group of Thomas Christ, who's a moderator here. He has a show, and it's a big community, but it's small at the same time. It's probably 1,000 strong, maybe, if I'm being generous. And we all release our music, and we have this little shows on different channels of people playing everybody's music. So there's shows that feature everyone's music each week. And it's such a really positive place for people to release music and just get some feedback. Sometimes it's a little hard because it is small and it's hard to get new people into it. But we're very lucky. I say this all the time, because I've been in lots of communities where it's just people tearing each other apart. But it doesn't seem to happen. And when it does, it kind of just gets brushed off and everybody ignores it and lets it go away. So community is very important to have, especially making music or whatever it is that your heart endeavors. So you've got another album, so Little March with Adam Levy. Tell us about how that came about.
So my producer from an Atheist Album introduced me to Adam. And Adam is a genius and a legend in the music industry. He played guitar with Tracy Chapman for a long time. So he's playing on Give Me One Reason. He played with Nora Jones for a long time. He's playing the guitar and Don't Know Why. And he also played with Ani DeFranco on Knuckle Down. It's like
Wow.
my favorite album. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah, I was
it's such a
so
good album.
it's so boss. And yeah, so that was actually my first co-writing experience, was being in a room with this genius man. And I was so nervous to write with him. I was in New York and in a little hotel room, and we talked. And yeah, I always, I had only written on my own. I remember when I would look up who had written songs, and there'd be like 8 people. I'm like, how could you need 8 people to write a song? Like, how is it even possible? I just didn't. I was so used to just like doing it on my own. So it was like really intimidating to do it with anyone. But then of course with Adam. Hey.
I just thought I'd put it on underneath while you're explaining. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
And thank you. And this is the first song that we wrote, because we were talking about ritual. And I was talking about this ritual in Romania where they have, it's called the Little March, and the March Shore. It's Romania, Moldova. I think it might be another country as well, but it's like one of the oldest continuous rituals that is still practiced. And everybody brings these little trinkets to the women in their lives on the 1st of March, the March Shore, the Little March, like the changing of the season. And they're these little trinkets. They're like a bow of intertwined red and white string. And my friend who was Romanian was telling me about it, and he would send them to me on the March Shore. And he just had this image on the day, like all the kids would bring the trinkets to their teachers, and the teachers would be covered, like their whole body would just be like covered from head to toe in these little trinkets from the kids. And I just love that imagery so much. And for me, like Judaism and my life in Judaism is very ritual laden. It's full of symbolism and ritual, and I think that can be so powerful. It can connect us to the past and connect us to the future and connect us to the moment and to each other. And it's tradition, it's expression, it's respect for our ancestors. It's so many things. It's wisdom, it's knowledge, and yeah, it's so beautiful. And it was hard to have a more complicated relationship with the rituals that I grew up with, because I do love it, and I do see the capacity for good and how useful and powerful it can be. So yeah, it was nice to have this ode to ritual and connection in this song. And that was actually my father playing violin in the Solid Air.
It's a beautiful album. So, folks, really, you should go and grab this one. You do change style. I mean, I really love it. You have such a broad range of styles in your music. I'm guessing you're one of these artists who, will take on anything. Like if I threw you a metal song, would you try and do it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I love.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a wedding singer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I learned to imitate and do different styles. And I get bored, I think, if I'm singing the same style, and I now that I run my production company and my studio with Prince, we write in different styles every day. Like that's what we do. We make music for film and TV, for different projects, brands, for other artists, and we just do it a different style every day. Like I do a lot of dance music. I make a lot of EDM. There's a very small crossover of people that are into techno and dance music and atheism and know me for both of those things. Like, I think I've met a couple of the people, the atheist EDM crossover. Um, but yeah, so I love that. There's a song. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for this, by the way. Thank you for giving
No,
me an
thank you.
opportunity to connect with your community and share my music. And yeah, everyone's being so kind and uplifting, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, we just, you know, we'll get bored if we were doing the same thing. It was so
Yes.
funny. One day I was actually, maybe this is a good segue into the song that into Baraye, maybe. I mean, it's so heavy, but it's so, you know.
How did you know how did you know I had that queued up? Look, it's ready to go. Wow.
Harold told me.
We're in tune.
We're in tune.
I was just
We're in
about to say
harmony.
the next question was going to be, tell us about this project here.
Right. So like I mentioned, I work a lot with the ex-Muslim community, and I've been going to their conferences and events, I think since 2013, and they ask me to create new works, to, you know, to amplify what their message is. And, you know, like I said, those are the bravest people in the world that I know. And so whenever Mariam asks me to do something, I just drop what I'm doing, and I'll do it. And so we created this work at the time during the Masa Amini protests in 2022. And I think it was still even the first week after the protest had started. So Masa Amini was a 22-year-old woman living in Iran, and she was taken by the morality police because her hair was uncovered. Her hair was not covered properly, and she was killed. She was killed, and there was a huge uproar. There was protests for months and months and months, and you know, military was fighting against their own people. They arrested thousands of people. They've been executing people nonstop. And there was an artist, Shervin Hajipur, and he created this song that was, he took tweets that people had written and shared about why they were protesting, and he put them all together, and that was the song. And so he was just playing on the piano and singing, and the tweets were coming across the screen, and it was called Baraye, and which means like for, and it's like for the free, you know, for the freedom to dance in the street, for the innocent dogs who are being killed, for my sister, your sister, our sisters, for the change of rotten minds. And it was just it was so powerful. And it instantly became an anthem for the protest. It went around the world. I think it had 40 million views in the first
Wow.
48 hours. And it really became an anthem. And people were singing it all around the world in solidarity. It was incredible. And so, you know, Mariam hit me up and she said, let's amplify this. Like, let's make an English version, you know, and let's share the message. And I was like, absolutely. Like, I'm down. And we worked on an English translation together. And Mariam is Iranian. Her family's, you know, some is still there. And, you know, I'm honored to help amplify my friends' voices in any way that I can. And so, and just that message, you know, just to get it out, you know, to make it more accessible at that time was really important. Yeah, I felt that was an amazing thing to get to do. And I have a really good friend, Frederick Taylor. He's an Emmy Award winning filmmaker, and he has a film production company called Tomorrow Pictures, and I hope he's having dinner with me tonight. Hopefully, Freddie, if you're watching, come to Hollywood. But he's usually in Nashville and Atlanta, but he's in LA this week, so I hope I'll see him tonight. But yeah, he created the footage with me, and I mean it's a lot of footage from the protests. It's very powerful. It's very confronting, but just to see, you know, like I said, that bravery and that fearlessness for people that are willing to risk everything for the freedoms that, you know, we don't even really think about a lot of the time. So yeah, this is where I am.
Let's share it with everybody now. You ready, folks? Let's urge.
The Islamic regime of Iran is going to end via a women's revolution, and I think we're seeing that today.
For dancing, dancing in the streets, for the fear of kissing, the fear of kissing, for my sister, your sisters, our sisters, for the change of rotten minds, for humiliation, for poverty, for longing for a normal life. Could that be for the waste picker kid and all of her dreams, and for the corrupted economy, and for the polluted air, for the withered trees on Bali Yasser, for the little cheetah and his predicted end, for all the forbidden dogs who are innocent, for endless non-stop weeping, for imagining the scene could happen again, for a face smiling, for all the students, for the future, and for this forced heaven, and for the intellectuals in prison, and for the refugee Afghan kids, for all this, and for everything that was not said, for everyone, all the slogans that are empty, for the collapse of houses built so flimsy, and for the peacefulness, for after long, long nights, for the sun rising, for tranquilizers and no sleep, for woman life and freedom, for the girl who wished that she could be a boy, for woman life.
Wow. Heavy. Freedom. It's a word that's thrown around these days like salt on a food, and I don't think people really understand what the true meaning is. It scares me what some people's idea of freedom is, and it's like, I just want to say horrible shit. And it's like, okay, but you know, there are consequences. I'm allowed to think you're a total saying that stuff, but having the freedom to say the most vile shit is not a ticket to just say it. Like, there are consequences. I don't believe in cancelling people or hiding people when they do have outrageous shit, because we should know where they are. When you cancel people and bury them,
Right.
then you don't know what they're up to. And this is how fascism starts, in my opinion. So you should let these wild concepts of people's coming out of people's mouths say. But freedom is, for many people, something that they'll never experience. Real freedom to go out and do whatever the fuck you want every day. We are so lucky.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm going to run this. So YouTube have this new thing, and I'm going to see if you guys want to play. Shelley sent me, normally I ask for 6 songs. Shelley sent me an extra one to play, but it's up to you if you want to hear it. So we're going to set a goal for 15 minutes. If I can get 5 super chats, it doesn't matter how much. Super stickers don't count for some reason with this new thing that Google's introduced. We'll play an extra song. So the ball is in your court. That'll run for 15 minutes. YouTube sent me this thing. They're like, we're trialing this thing. So I'm trialing it for them. So I'm doing it. So there we go. Let's move to here. So let's talk about being a voice, because when you come out as atheist or as trans or anything that you now are in the public eye, your music's not only scrutinized for your belief system or who you think you are, then you get pulled into this new world of being an advocate at the same time. How has that transition been for you to go from there you are just playing music in a club or whatever it is, and now I've got to get up here and inspire people as well, maybe talk and do this kind of stuff? What's it like? I'm interested to know your experience.
You know, it gives me a lot of energy to amplify the voices of the people that I have connected with and that I care about. And I just feel honored, really, to be able to be part of that amplification, because I remember listening to Alanis or Ani DeFranco or Ben Harper and just hearing these calls for like a better world or a different world or a different way of thinking, and to think like to be a link in the chain of that is like the greatest honor anyone could have. And like that song, the Mariah song, Chevin was arrested for making that song, and he was sentenced to prison. I think he was just recently acquitted, like a couple of weeks ago, actually. But yeah, like, you can't compare. I can't compare. For me, it's just easy. I don't have to fear for my life. My first album, I went against everything that my family believe and stand for and love, and it must have felt like the most deep rejection. But I didn't have to worry about my life. I could go on the radio. I could talk about the things that mattered to me. I could go through that process of questioning and be really free to think. And so, yeah, it's easy for me to do that. And so I'm gonna run with it. Like one time at one of the ex-Muslim conferences that I went to, I heard everybody speaking. It's mostly female activists from like 20 different countries all over the world coming together and talking about the way that they use art, the way that they use their bodies, the way that they, are fighting back against structures that, don't allow them full freedom of expression. And I was supposed to play this song that I had prepared, but I was just so inspired by hearing everybody talk that I wrote a new song. I went in the stairwell and I just wrote the song that I felt like was the words that everybody was saying, and it was like the message that everybody was amplifying. And so I got up and I said, this is what I felt from all of you. This is what you have given me. You've shared your strength and your bravery, and I feel stronger from being around you. And I'm just reflecting back at you what you gave to me, what you have shared with me. And yeah, it was so cool. I hadn't even played it through all the way, I just played it for the first time on stage to everyone. And it was so cool. Like, that's how it feels. It feels like a reflection, and I'm working on a new project at the moment. It's a conservation themed EP about the Puget Sound watershed, which is this really beautiful ecosystem off the coast of the Pacific Northwest. It's one of the most biodiverse areas in the world. It's home to orca whales, orca whale pods. It's home to some of the biggest salmon in the world. And I have a friend who is a marine biologist from that area. He calls it his biome. And it's kind of like hanging out with David Attenborough. It's pretty fun. Like you're just walking down the street and he'll pick up a plant and be like, oh, you can use this to cook this. And, he works, he runs like classes where he teaches, people how to forage and get food from their environment. He's a science communicator. He works with kids. He would take kids out on the sound, try to inspire the next generation of scientists. And he's just so passionate about this area. And he took me out kayak crabbing. And I was vegetarian at the time. And I got these crabs with him, like smashed the crab, on my kayak. I did, but we're out on the sound and he's picking up crabs and he's telling me, look, this is how you tell this one's a girl, a female, whatever. And then he pulls some kelp out of the water. He says, here, eat this. This is the fastest growing kelp in North America. I'm like, he's like, it's gross, isn't it? Yeah. But the way that he was telling the stories about the area and about the animals and the way that the people and society and the animals interacted and the way that it imprinted on him and his life story, it reminded me of songs. Like the way he saw nature, the way he sees nature. He worked with the orcas. He knows, he can recognize them by the shape of their fins. And just the way that he is his environment, it was this, like when he would talk to me, I was just hearing songs. And so we just started writing songs together about the animals that live there. There's one song that we made about from the perspective of Granny, the orca whale. She was one of the oldest mammals to ever live. And she would have been at like 4 years old when they first built a dam in her region. And that really changed life for her and her tribe, because they used to have these giant salmon that could, that they had enough to eat. And then when the dam was put up, the salmon disappeared. And so the orcas had to, hunt longer and harder and burn more energy to get their fill of salmon. And orcas are actually a matriarchal society. So eventually Granny became the leader of her community. And she, led her tribe through very difficult and dark times. And then there was a movement in the area to bring the dam down, to take it down. And the environmentalists won. And this was the biggest of a dam removal project of its kind. And they didn't know what was going to happen. Everyone was watching to see like what would happen when they took it down. And within 6 weeks, the area was starting to replenish, and the estuaries were reforming, and some bigger species of salmon that had been gone for almost a century are starting to come back. Where were they? How did they know?
Hiding from us.
Like, and so we tell the story from Granny's perspective, and that she would have had a little bit of hope, always hope, that maybe life could be back again to how it was when she was a little kid, And so I think in the story of climate, it's hard to have hope because it's overwhelming when you look at it.
Yeah.
I love animals. I think the only reason I'm not married to a rabbi with 10 children right now is because I liked animals. I just loved them. And so I took biology class as a kid. Like, I'm going to learn about the dolphins. But instead I learned about evolution. And I was like, damn, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
I heard a rumor the other day that whales are beaching themselves because of the wind.
The wind?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. That was from Donald Trump. I'm not really going to pay any attention to that. Shelley, we've had our goal reached thanks to Rhett, thanks to Thomas.
Thank you, Rhett.
So we're going to play an extra song, and thanks to Kurt, Metalhead Hippie, everybody who donated. There you go, Rhett. Rhett did a few times, Thomas, Metalhead Hippie, and Kurt has gifted a heap of memberships today, so thank you for that. So we're going to play this extra song now. So we may go into overtime a little bit. Let's do it now. Let's give you your extra song. So thanks for participating. Let's Oge.
About all the time that I spent down there in the dark, drowning in dirt. Didn't think I would ever feel the sun on my face again, stuck in that place again. But I found an out. Sun's rays fall like jumping beams to get to you, to get to me. Breath takes between empty space to fill our lungs up for the day. Love rains, it takes us by storm, and all the pain will wash away. Rejuvenate, I'm like a whole field of flowers, photosynthesizing my powers. Damn, I feel great. Rejuvenate, I'm like a whole field of flowers, photosynthesizing my powers. Damn, I feel great. I feel great. Take a look inside every part of what makes you hard and keeps you hidden away. You can always rebuild your heart and make a fresh start. When you feel you're locked in the gray, you can find an out. Sun's rays fall like jumping beams to get to you, to get to me. Breath takes between empty space to fill our lungs up for the day. Love rains, it takes us by storm, and all the pain will wash away. Rejuvenate, I'm like a whole field of flowers, photosynthesizing my powers. Damn, I feel great. Rejuvenate, I'm like a whole field of flowers, photosynthesizing my powers. Damn, I feel great. 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 I'm feeling great. Rejuvenate. Rejuvenate. I'm like a whole field of flowers, photosynthesizing my powers. Damn, I feel great. Rejuvenate. I'm like a whole field of flowers, photosynthesizing my powers. Damn, I feel great. I feel great.
And I feel great now after listening to that. So thank you, everybody who super chatted to get that song. So chlorophyll, that is called. I did say that right, didn't I?
Yes.
I nearly said chloroform. What am I thinking of?
Chloroform, yeah.
Chloroform. It's about Shelley when she goes out to clubs and she spikes people. No, that's not what it is at all. An awesome track. So I want to get your take on this because we'll try and wrap this up in about 15, 20 minutes, if that's okay by you.
Of course. Thanks for letting me keep talking.
The politics in the world. Do you see? It's only a few days away till we have this election. Even as an Australian here, it feels there isn't any space. It feels like to breathe. It's just this Orange Man bad. It's just so consuming and it's so tiring. And
Yeah.
are you hoping that whatever outcome happens, that we can settle down at least? And there's so many other things we need to be focusing on at the moment. It seems like instead of this nonsense of this sports team orientated concept of politics that we've fallen into.
Right.
It feels like everybody's got their jersey on and their cap and they're all waving there. And it's like, this ain't fucking sport, folks.
No.
This is
That's-
people's lives.
100%. That was the first thing I noticed when I moved here. It's like, it feels like a boxing match. You know,
Yeah.
we don't do that in Australia.
No, 2
Yeah.
weeks. 2 weeks. You get a sausage at the election poll room. You walk out with the sausage and bread, and no one talks about it again. It's done.
But the just like even the production around the events, it's like, you know, it's like it feels like you're they're using those same things, and it's just amplifies it in that it escalates it in that way. And I feel like we've lost sight of the fact that our neighbors are just people that also love their families and are also just trying to get through the day. And I think that that's intentional. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they, you know, if we're not united, we can't fight for the things that would make everybody's life better. It's at the point where people will look at someone on the other side and not see them as human, not see them as themselves. And yeah, it's never.
Yeah,
It's scary. It's very scary.
I don't want to have to pick a side. Like, there's enough to worry about during every day. I've got to pay bills. I've got to do. There's all these things that just pop up day to day. I don't need to worry about what side am I on? What side's this person on? I don't give a fuck, really. Come on, but you know, it's very frustrating. I know I've been very frustrated with it recently. I mean, I'm writing on whole again. I'm doing an album, doing a metal album about
Nice.
this stuff. And this last week, I've been so angry because, you know, I watched a video last week. You were talking about, you know, the nature and replenishing our world, which we're treating like shit.
Right.
And I don't know. I started filming a series here on the channel, Walk With Me, and I go out and walk around. And I'm seeing, Shelley, the same shit that I see on the internet isn't happening in the real world. I'm not seeing people walk around like hating people and calling and just being shit people. But on the internet, it seems to just be inflamed and everybody's angry and the politicians are just making money and they don't give a shit. That's all it's about. But it's very frustrating, very, very frustrating. It just seems like both sides can't get their shit together. But you're right. When I moved to America, I couldn't believe the pomp and ceremony.
No.
It's like, could you imagine John Howard running going to a huge...
Like and the flashing lights, and it's like just little Johnny comes out. It's like
g'day.
yeah.
It wouldn't work, would it? Like he's got Rod Laver Arena. John Howard comes out. G'day, everybody. What's going on? It's just, it's a joke. Like we wouldn't do that here. So yeah, I just wished. It's so painful watching it from across the pond and going, God, guys, just get on with it. Just treat people nice.
It's interesting, like the issues that are politicized here, like they really carry across the world. They carry to Australia. You know, people are having arguments about the same talking points as here, and it doesn't really impact. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it's carrying over because people are interested in American politics when it's not necessarily an issue in Australia, or that's what's making it more of an issue, making it more tense. You know, do you feel that that's carrying over to Australia?
For me, I talked a little bit about this on my channel. For me personally, I had a bit of a rant yesterday at the end of my show about how, like, people. I don't think people realise all this hate and stuff that they're spewing on their side, or whatever it is, left or right, whatever hate you're saying, it affects people's day-to-day lives. Right, so me here, so all this trans bullshit of how trans people are the
Yeah.
death of everything. We're to blame for everything. That affects me every day when I go to the shop, when I try and get a new apartment, when I try and get a job, because now they're going to look and go, this is what the consensus is from a bunch of lunatics who are just angry and want to shit on people. And it's like, man, I remember when your religion, I remember as a kid growing up, and I always thought religion, I had this concept in my mind was people who went out and helped people.
Right.
And it's not that. It's just not that anymore. It's just they've become the evil that they blame everyone else for being. And it sucks. I can't, it's a confusing time. It's so angry. People are so mad, and just shut the fuck up. Tick your box in the election booth and fucking move on with it, please. There you go.
Right. And just, yeah. I mean, to me, the answer is always music. That's the only answer
Yes.
I can give. You know, I don't know what's the right thing to do. I'm so glad I'm not a politician or an ethicist or having to make any kind of, or even a doctor, just any kind of decision that affects other people's lives. The only answer I know is music. And it's the answer that I think to everything.
Yes, and it's a great place to air your views without, like, because when you air your views talking, people take it as, "Rrr," but when you put it in a song, it's all right. You can get away with
Right.
it.
And you hold people hostage with a pretty voice. No one would let me tell my opinion for 4 minutes. They'd be like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
but now, you know, I can just talk for 4 minutes. It's great. Although you let me talk for 2 hours.
I like doing that. So we'll play another song, and then I'll hit you with the last. We'll bring it home. This is your new single, After We Leave. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. So I will break the rule and talk about
Of
what
course.
it's about. But
Your rules, you do it.
it's so I was telling you guys how I do the songwriting sessions every Sunday, and I actually started it back in 2019, and I ran the project for like a year. We kind of did it through the pandemic. I think we wrote like 16 songs together, and that was dope. I loved it. And I started it. I took a break for a few years, and I just started it again this year in May. So I've been doing it every week since May. But this is from the first batch of those songs that we wrote together during the pandemic when we were just starting the community. And yeah, it's just kind of 30 strangers together writing a song in live together. And so yeah, I'm making an EP of the songs, my favorite songs from that project. And it's so different, you know. It feels different because it doesn't feel the same as my songs. I feel the energy of the people that were there in that session with me. And like, yeah, it's so cool. I think that day, I remember in the session, there was someone that had just lost somebody really close to them. And then there was someone else that I think their daughter was getting married. And, you know, I kind of start the sessions by saying like, hey, what's everybody going through? Oh, bye, Rhett. Thank you. And I started the session saying, yeah, what's everyone going through? And people shared that. And I'm really grateful that people feel like a space to share that kind of stuff. But what was so interesting, you know, we try to find like emotions that are resonating with everybody, no matter what the situation is, like what's in common. And both of these people felt that they had the same feeling, that in light of these very different circumstances, the message that they were taking in that moment, or the one to give in that moment, was to tell the people you love while you can, while you're here, that you love them, and just being in the moment, like, and appreciating the moment, even in the deepest sadness, the deepest loss, and the highest high, and the highest happiness. The message was the same, and that was so beautiful to me, and I think to all of us in the session. So yeah, this is my first ever fully produced and released single from my live stream songwriting project.
Awesome. Let's do it. You ready, folks? Let's ode. After We Leave.
So many moments in this life where I wanna tell you what you mean to me. When everything is going right, that's when I want you here with me. Small broken parts heal in the dark, and I'm not afraid to share my heart with you. We're here, but not for long. So I'll sing this song to you before we disappear. I'm gonna let go of my fears, 'cause we had nothing before we came, and after we leave, nothing again. Before I faced it all alone, all of the pain that I was floating in, when everything is going wrong, you are the one I want to be sinking with. Small broken parts heal in the dark, and I'm not afraid to share my heart with you. We're here, but not for long. So I'll sing this song to you before we disappear. I'm gonna let go of my fears, 'cause we had nothing before we came, and after we leave, nothing again. No, I'm not afraid to say how I feel, and I won't wait to say how I feel. Small broken part heal in the dark, and I'm not afraid to share my heart with you. We're here, but not for long. So I'll sing this song to you before we disappear. I'm gonna let go of my fears, 'cause we had nothing before we came, and after we leave, nothing again.
So awesome to see a song come from community collaborations. I love that stuff. I wish I could do that. When I do live streams and I'm writing a song, I'm such a arrogant snob. I sit there and go, no, my song, I'm doing it. I never let anybody chime in. You know, because sometimes you got a vision. And then
Do you want to do it?
You want to do a song?
Do you want to do a live song together?
Well, right now.
Not now. We don't have time.
Well, let's do
I mean,
it. Yeah, let's do
wait,
it. I'm cool to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
that would be really fun.
We'll organise a special stream. I'm down with that. I'm sure everybody will love that. I'm up for doing that. I don't do enough of it.
And I hear you. I'm the same. Like when it's like, okay, I'm here for my therapy. You know, I'm here to process my emotions. That's for me. But it's something different. It's fun and it's like it's really joyful. Even the songs that are sad and the way that everyone just shares together and is so vulnerable. And I'm being so vulnerable. It's crazy. it's so special. It's like, yeah, it's really, really. I'd love to do it with you if you're down.
I'm down. Let's do it. So now you also not only make great music and tour and all this stuff. I know. Yes, we will do it, Hugh Caldwell. Absolutely, we will do it. I'll follow through with this stuff. I'm always looking for new content to do. I always take risks. I
will. I always force people to write music.
So this is the thing. So you also promote independent music as well with your own businesses out there. Tell us about what you do with your. Is that a label or my mind's?
it's a lot of things. You know how you said you have like 11 bands. I feel like every other day you start a new band. Every other day I start a new company. You know, I've been I've been living in America long enough now that I don't want to punch myself in the face if I call myself an entrepreneur. Yeah, I feel like a wanker in Australia to call myself that, but America is the land of the free.
Absolutely. So
The-
True
um,
Music is one of these. Is this right?
Yes, True Music. Yes, that's correct. So True Music is a indie label, independent label, and label services company. And oh, that's me. That's one way to get a record deal is to sign yourself, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And I was very inspired back in the day by Ani DeFranco, who was, running around in the 90s, started her own label. I'm a massive Frank Zappa fan, also very DIY.
Me
And
too.
so, I just feel like I maybe I'm a control freak. I don't know. I feel like I have to do everything myself. And just everything that I've learned from this process of being an independent artist, releasing everything myself, actually started True Music with my dad. We started it together initially just to release our own music. But as I was learning that process of how to release and booking my own tours and, everything that you need as an independent musician, and I started, helping other people in that same way because, I like if I can help people avoid the mistakes, the terrible mistakes
Yeah.
that I made, or just, it's so important. It's so helpful to have people to soundboard off, and I love strategy. I think like there can be so much creativity around creating a strategy for your project that it can sometimes be as much fun as songwriting. It's like the same, when you're working with someone, you're like, okay, how do we express this in this medium? How do we get people to care about this song before they've heard it? What is the emotions? What is it that we're trying to put across? How do we represent that visually? It's really fun. And I'm starting to get in touch with the visual side of myself that I always struggled to as a child. I recently shot and edited my best friend's music video, Saba Abraha. She's incredible. And she released a song for the Ethiopian New Year. And we, um, we made that together. We started a creative agency where we are working on different projects with artists. And I just, and True Music is also a publishing house. So to my surprise, I really enjoy copyright and licensing. Like I just I'm shocked.
I love it too.
I'm as shocked
I love
as
that
anyone.
stuff too.
And so I do like a lot of freelance publishing administration. I do a lot of licensing. I do licensing for Vanessa at her label that we started together during the pandemic. And yeah, I love empowering other artists. I think it's different over here than it is in Australia, because in Australia you can collect all your royalties through just one organization, not all your royalties, but you can collect as a songwriter both your mechanicals and your performance royalties just by signing up with AMCOS. Whereas here in the US, it's not the case. Like you need to be signed up with multiple agencies. And so, these are people who are really hustling and working hard and trying to do the right thing. And they think, oh, I'm signing up with this collection agency, like I've got it covered, and they don't. And there's just, I'm really passionate about it. And I spend a lot of my time like teaching people and, kind of helping people prep their works to be able to be monetized, because if you don't have that stuff in order, you can't really, it's a lot harder to get the rewards of your hard work. So yeah, I'm really passionate about that. And Don't make me start talking about that because wait, I'll talk for another hour.
APRA is so easy here. I mean, you sign up and every year get a check, and it's just so easy to organise. I wish the rest of the world was as easy as that. We are going to run up today, so I'll ask you. We have a question I normally ask everybody at the end of the show.
Oh, cool.
But we'll just ask. So you've got this. Looks like you've got a bunch of recordings ready to come out. So, what's the roadmap for releases in a nutshell?
Well, so like I said, I stopped when the pandemic happened. I stopped for like 2 years. I stopped touring. I stopped releasing. I was still releasing, but not much. And so I made a goal last year. I said, I'm going to go back out on the road, even though I'm still running my production company and my publishing company and my, and with Prince, I run the studio. So I can't go on the road like I used to, like for just months at a time, but I'll kind of like just dip and do a quick run of shows and then come back and get back to work in the studio. And but I made this, I kept putting my stuff to last, and so I made a commitment to myself last year that I was going to release a song every month, a song or a project every month, and I have done that since December. I released a song every month, and so I'm just going to keep doing that. That's my goal.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So here on, I'm just coming back over here to, boom, there we go. So, yeah, you've been, I see 2024, 2024, 2024, 2024.
Yes.
It's a good feeling to be dumping songs like that. I know I feel the same way at the moment because, like, I haven't been releasing much music and I'm about to release probably 3 albums, probably over the next
you said
3
you've
months.
been
Yeah. Just going
writing
crazy.
prolifically.
Yeah, and it's very
That's
exciting
dope.
to get back writing again and actually having something to feel and punch and go crazy about. So, yeah, so that's awesome. So I'm going to hit you with the last question, which I hit everybody with. It's nowhere near as hard as the first question. So, Shelley, if you were going to give advice to somebody who was just thinking about starting out making music, when's the best time for them to start?
Immediately. It's funny because a couple weeks ago in my live session, we were writing a song about like going for it, about like even when you're struggling. Anyway, my dad called. I don't know why he called because he knows I've literally been doing this every single week for months now. But he called in the middle of my session, so I was like, all right, stuff you. So I answered the phone and put him on the live. And we told him like, oh, this is what the song's about. Like, do you have anything to add to the song? And he said, don't wait for things to be perfect before you start. Just
true.
Go, just go for it. Because you're never going to be ready and it's never going to be perfect. And just go now. And so he said that, and that was like a mic drop. It was really, really, it was really powerful. And then my friend Saba, who was in the stream, was like, she turned that into the line of the song. And it's like, do what you want to do. Don't wait to be perfect. That's what my daddy says. So it's like, it was really cute. It was really cute. And I believe that, like, just go for it. You're gonna learn all the time. You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do it all wrong. But that's better than not doing it at all. And that's the only way that you're gonna learn. I finally let go of being disappointed in myself for making mistakes. I was like, why am I just constantly making mistakes? Why is every move a mistake? It's like, oh, because I'm learning. I've never done any of this before. I have to do it wrong I have to do it, and then I could work out how to do it better. So yeah, just start immediately if there's something you want to do.
I think the reason I ask that every week when I interview somebody is so I need to hear it myself.
Right.
It's very selfish, but people think it's for everyone else. But it's, because it's good to be reminded, to just get up and do it, because we all get, things, so many distractions. Everything's a distraction these days. It's just distraction. So we're going to go out today and play this song. I chose to play this last because I think this is absolutely fucking beautiful. I've got a few songs in my collection of Dread Circus stuff about my mum, who isn't with us, but, you know, mums are really important. They really are, folks, and you should, if you got one, let her know you love her as often as you possibly can. I want to thank you for coming on the show today and sharing a little bit of you. We've got a date hooked up. We will work this out. We'll do a collaboration thing. I'm all down for that. Folks, all of Shelley's links are in the description, all of that stuff, so you can go and buy something from Bandcamp. That's the best way to go, always. Go and spend some dollars, or jump on the website. And can you do sell physical media?
I do.
Yes.
I do. I have, you know, my cupboard up there, still got some CDs.
Physical media, damn. So get onto that if you want as well.
And Patreon, you know, Patreon's the best.
Patreon, as always, yes, Patreon is a godsend if God existed. I always feel like I have to say that these days. So let's get out of here. We're going to go out and play this song, Mother. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, hello. If you haven't hit the like, please do so, and subscribe and all that jazz. And thanks to everybody who donated today with Super Chats, and Kurt for your memberships that you gave away to many people today. Thank you so much. Anything you want to say before we play this song and get out of here for today?
I just want to say thank you, Jade, so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing community together, and just giving artists a space to talk. And it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Personally, I get to say is thank you for writing such great music, and especially Saved. It was just, they were just songs, right? Like, I have a heap of them. Gillette Johnson, there's a bunch of her songs that, oh, God, and every time I hear it, I just lose my shit and cry. But Saved is one of those songs, every time I hear it, it just explained exactly what I was feeling. And, I would watch, I'll tell you, I would watch the Atheist Experience each week just to hear the song, and then I'd kind of zone out. It just is what it is. Cool. You know, so thank you so much. All right, guys, this is Mother. It's fucking beautiful. You're going to love it. So please hang on the line so I can say goodbye to you, Shelley. And as I say at the end of each, I'll let you know too. So, folks, there is an opening hour happening this Saturday. I know it's going to be a little bit late, but I am doing a Halloween show. Can I show it here? There you go. I'm doing a Halloween show. I know it's a little bit late, but that's the way my live performances fall. And yes, they're all me, and it's going to be a wild one this weekend. I'm going to costumes, blood. There's going to be everything. Lots of metal and lots of crazy shit. So that's happening on the opening hour this week. All right. This, as I say at the end of each and every show, remember, folks, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together. Stay awake. Don't be woke. And let's urge. This is Mother by Shelley Segal.
All of the hate in my life I have taken, carried it down in my bones. Can I heal from the mark it's been making onto my body and soul? I was told I was ugly and taught to believe it, but I just can't see it anymore, 'cause I look just like my mother. She's beautiful, I look just like my mother. Now you can make me feel small, 'cause I look just like my mother. Just like my mother. wasn't a problem till they tried to blame me for something beyond my control. Now I've been trying to shrink in this body she gave me since I was 8 years old. I was told I was ugly and taught to believe it, but I just can't see it anymore, 'cause I look just like my mother.